Okay. Hey guys! All right. It is almost 2 o'clock. I almost missed my own deadline, which is pretty crazy. So it is Travel Talk Tuesday at 2. And oh my gosh, I got so much I want to go through with you guys. So I put together some slides there. It's so much great information. I'm going to need to have to turn the phones down. So you guys all know that, well, you probably don't know. So just in case you're looking now, I have been on a cruise ship for the last week, and I was on a cruise ship in September. So big difference. Big difference. So I want to be able to go through that with everybody. So this is Travel Talk Tuesday at 2. As you guys come on, do me a big favor and, little box below, box off to the right, write your name in. Let me know you're there. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can kind of type it in that little box. And when I get through, I can go back. If you have some comments as I'm going through things, you absolutely can put it in there and we can address that as well. But there's just a lot of information. I don't know if you guys stayed tuned to Daytime Tri-Cities this morning, but I got to get, and I'm going to do that kind of in 2022, just to let you know, I'm going to be on daytime, usually on a Tuesday. The only time that's going to change is for next week, which is Travel Club. And then we'll also follow up with some more information, usually if needed, on Travel Talk Tuesday at 2. And like I said to you guys before, please like and share this with other folks. And if for some reason, the likes or the viewers go down, then, we won't do this. I only want to be able to give you the information you need if it's something you can use. So, hey, Miss Deborah Weiniger is there already. So we got Miss Sarah House right there. Yay. Yay. So we've got a few of you guys starting to come on. And it is 2 o'clock. But because I was so late getting on today, Amy came in briefly, big creative files, and we're trying to get that all done. Of course, I ran down to the studio and then I came back and we had phone calls. And long story short, guys, forgive me, but if I need to get back to you, it's going to be a few days, because we have a lot of things that are very urgent that we want to make sure we get out to everybody. Hello, Miss Louise. Some of you guys, I want to thank you so much for your comments on my Facebook and Deborah's Facebook, my cruising buddy up there, because you guys made us really feel special. And we missed you. Yeah, I know you missed the sunshine. I know. And Miss Barbara Tunnell, hello from New Smyrna Beach. Your ears should have been burning, Barbara. I'm driving down the road from Port Canaveral and went right past there, and I said, why is that name New Smyrna Beach? That sounds familiar. Now I know why. That's where Miss Barbara is from. Miss Sarah, I'll put that down to give you a call, but it's probably going to be a couple of days. Right now, I'm kind of handling things that are within a 24 or 48 hour. But you know how guys know how I am when I come back from a trip. It takes me about 3 days to get kind of caught up. And then on top of it, I had daytime and then Travel Talk. And I could have postponed that. But I think the information that I'm going to share with you guys are so important. And I'm hoping, because I'm seeing a lot of you guys out there. I've got Miss Lois there, Eloise. You guys will help spread this information so that we can start getting a little bit more positive about what's going on out there versus all of this, oh my God, fear in the news. Don't watch the news. I watch it and just have to go. You have no clue. Fear factor out there. So anyway, Mr. Gary Johnson's on. All right. And I want to thank you guys. Believe it or not, I think I did this off the balcony of the cruise ship last week. And so I'm standing there and my swimsuit and my cover up and the wind's blowing. I got my hair all tied up, ready to go jump in the sun. And I decided to do Daytime Tri-Cities. Now, what other person, I was going to say idiot, would do that? All right, but guess what? It got so much attention, even from my home office, and you'll see they actually broadcast. So anyway, that's because right now what is going on in travel is hot news, and I'm going to kind of go through some things with you guys. We're about 2:03. I got Mr. David Carroll on, Gary Johnson. Again, spread this information. And what I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to make this larger here in a few minutes, and I'm going to shrink down, is really when the news changes. And right now the news has changed. That, I mean, the fear factor in the quote unquote typical news is out there. They're always doing the views of the hospital. They're always doing the views of the kids and stuff. And they're always saying, even though it's underlined, it's the unvaccinated that is the issue. Omicron is an issue. And I'm going to tell you how it's different and how in some ways it's actually kind of good. So Mr. Mike Smith is on, all right, who's not going, I shouldn't say this to Hawaii, bless your heart. And I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to kind of explain to everybody what's going on. So I'm going to shrink down here so you can see this a little bit better. And then we're all going to get started. Again, this is Travel Talk Tuesday at 2, Kathy Kennedy. What in the world is going on with travel? I've experienced it firsthand. I got home 2 days ago, so I can tell you. And I've got Deborah, which is on here. She just got home 2 days ago, and she can testify to it as well. And I just got off the phone with a group that just got off the Odyssey, which is up in the Atlanta and Cleveland area. And we were on that one in September. So I can tell you a little bit differences that's going on there. But I will tell you, in all cases, I had a wonderful time. I mean, Deborah, you'll have to speak for yourself. I had a great time. I just talked to the guys in Atlanta and up in Cleveland, or the Ohio. They're from Columbus. I shouldn't say Cleveland. And they had a fabulous time too. So here is what is going on. Hey, Queenie. Got Vedas, amigos. All right. Oh, and I want to say thank you guys, because I mean, we had, I think, record views, not to mention the many times it got. So if this is good, please let's keep it up. If I'm doing something good for you, then that's what I want to do. So first off, I got to say officially Happy New Year to everyone. And yes, I did roll into 2022 on a cruise ship, which is where I really want to be. So my next side is with Charlie. And let me pull out some of my cheat sheets again. Like I said, I've been running kind of late today. Now, let me tell you who Charlie Silva is. And again, a lot of the information I'm giving you guys is facts. Okay, so it's just facts, and it's from professionals. It's not necessarily my opinion. If it is my opinion, I'm going to say this is what Kathy thinks. But this is actually from Charlie Silva. I know Charlie pretty well. And he is the vice president. I believe his title is vice president in charge of CLIA. CLIA stands for Cruise Line International Association. They are the ones that has to communicate, work with anything around the cruise lines, in quote, CDC. So when the CDC came out, if you've been under a rock, which I don't know, you guys have not, but the CDC came out with this very blatant statement, changing cruise lining from a travel code 3 to a travel code 4. Now, what basically does that mean? They're just saying do not travel, no matter whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. And they backed it up with absolutely no facts whatsoever. CLIA, of course, came back and made some comments where he's like, give us the facts. Can you tell us why you made those types of decisions? And if you guys watch me on, again, Daytime Tri-Cities today, which I'll eventually go back up and post a little bit later on, cruising started back in June. Royal Caribbean has now sailed over 1.1 million people. And of those 1.1 million, 0.02 have caught COVID. Now, if you were to, and again, I'm repeating a little bit from this morning, and I think it's probably going to come up here in a few minutes, about a state, Alaska being 9.4% affected right now by COVID, where Georgia is at 36.8%. A cruise ship is at 0.02. So you tell me, where the code, 4 should be. It should be on the states, not so much the cruise ship. So there is this big talk about cruise lines being targeted again and cruise lines being targeted unfairly. I don't think I don't think I was really in a position to really understand it back when I think this whole thing started in 2022. It's just that, now I got a bigger handle on it. Now I've been out onto cruise ships. I've traveled to Alaska. I've been on trains. I've been on airplanes. I've been in all inclusive. So I think I have a little bit more professional, and I'll tell you if any and all of them, I think the safest I ever felt was on a cruise ship. And then they talk about the one thing Charlie talks about here is that vaccination rate. If you look at, and this is a fact, vaccination rate on a cruise ship is 95%. So 95%, where if you go to any other land venue, is at 62%. The cruise lines, again, Charlie says this, and I'm reading my notes here, that the cruise lines actually have to report 21 times more testing results than anything on land. And then again, and the two corporations, CLIA and ASTA, and they both have gone after the CDC on this. ASTA is actually gone after Biden on this, and I might have this in my notes a little bit later on, but there's no facts to it. There's no facts when it comes to the cruise line. See, I'm trying to, Claire, you just got my attention. There was a long note here. Okay, I think that's something about testing, 60 hours to get PCR tests. So anyway, that's something I think you don't have to worry about right now. So anyway, I'm going to get back on track here. Sorry about that, guys. I got off track for a second. So anyway, Charlie and ASTA are really just asking the CDC to make a decision based off facts. And if you look at the facts as to what Omicron COVID is actually doing to this nation, doing to the world, in comparison to what is happening on a cruise line, is the comparison is not fair. There's no guidelines held against airlines. You don't have to be vaccinated to fly. You do have to be vaccinated to cruise. You don't have to be vaccinated to get on a train. You do to be on a cruise. You don't have to be vaccinated to go to an all-inclusive. So on and so forth. They're just seeing, again, where the CDC is treating things a little bit more unfair. And I think I have some slides that I can actually read off of. Now, one prediction, Charlie said this. Now, I could go back and pull it up. I listened to it twice. And this is a prediction, a prediction from Charlie, that by mid-January, January the 15th, which should be in the next week or so, that the conditional sales program could expire. That would be huge. That would be huge. That would mean the CDC would say, you know what, you're right. You guys are good. You need to run your own business. And basically, I think the cruise line at this point, from wherever I've been, is running it better than anybody else. So that's just, I'm hoping Charlie is right on that one. Now, again, this was a conference call, not a conference. It was a video that came down from our home office. And again, this was one of my CEO's favorite slides is cruise line versus airport, pick your petri dish. It was not so much the airports as it is, I looked at the New York ball drop. I looked at Nashville when all the things before New Year's Eve, because I was home New Year's Eve and then I left after that. And people were right on top of each other. There was no mask. You had no idea whether they were vaccinated or not. And I think to myself, and they're singling out cruise ships. So anyway. Okay, so here are some facts. I think you can see that maybe at the top. Facts. There is no setting that is immune from the COVID-19. However, a cruise provides the highest level of demonstrated mitigation against the virus. You know, I just got off of the Harmony of the Seas, and it was real easy to take a beach chair, and then put 2 beach chairs on either side, and I was always social distance. And there was plenty of room to do that. there was, you can make choices whether to go up the slide and distance yourself. Now, I want to say the protocols are put in place on the cruise ships, but I will tell you also have to use a little bit of common sense that some people are not all going to follow the rules. So you need to be able to follow the rules. I will tell you this, though. Every single crew member had a mask at all times, and Deborah will testify to that. And that we wore masks up and down the hall. We did wear masks into the entertainment, but dinner, bars, or outside, which is pretty much where I was most of the time, dinner, bars, or outside, there was no mask. So when I came home, okay, no mask. No, I just have to put this part here. Then I come home and I find out my horse, the gentleman that watches my horses while they're gone, or watches Pat's horses while we're gone, has got Omicron. Okay, so his dad watched him. Then I go to pick up Denali, my dog, at the kennel, and the kennel owner thinks she's got it. Now, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But the environment that I was on for 7 days, it made me feel a lot more comfortable than actually I got home. I even went to the doctor this morning. No, I'm not sick. It's just a general checkup. I went this morning, and the person behind the counter, no mask. The nurse that, does all the typing in, blah, 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 update your, no mask. Yeah. So I'm telling you, cruise ships are safe. So the next one is more than 100 cruise ships are returned to the waters, carrying more than a million people. You guys know this one with strict protocols in place, significant. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, this is where we get into that unfair thing. Now, there's no vaccine mandate across the travel industry, and I think I got ahead of myself and talked about that. You don't have to have vaccinated to be on a plane or a train or that type of thing. Mask, yes, but vaccinated, no. Cruise ships, those are all the things that it has: a vaccine requirement, testing, mask wearing, enhanced ventilation and sanitation. And let me tell you, when I was on cruise ships before, and I have a laptop I always take with me, and usually the cleaning crew won't touch if it's technical equipment. All right. In 2019, you could write your name on that sucker before the week was over with. But again, the laptop, they still haven't touched it. Nothing. Clean as a whistle. So I know the ventilation systems have all been updated. Sanitation. Deborah, I'm laughing at you. Sanitation, sometimes that antiseptic is a little sticky, because they're scrubbing it down or whatever, and they're cleaning things so much. Sometimes it's still even wet, but it's clean, right? But it gets sticky. So Deborah got stuck to a couple of tables, but anyway, but it is being cleaned. Okay, I'm on mute. Let's see that. Okay. Now the cases is okay. So what cases there are, I am not going to come on here and say there are no cases on cruise ships. There are cases on cruise ships. Absolutely. There are cases on airplanes. Absolutely. That's the reason why a lot of flights are being canceled. There are cases everywhere. So again, if you go back to that, Alaska's at 9%, and you go to look at one state's at 38%, but yet cruising is at 0.02%. Yes, it's there, but it's much less. Plus they have to submit daily reports. And the last fact, and again, these are not my slides, these are factual, is that ships are 33% lower than land locations. So this is what kills me when the media is over here, scaring the heck out of all you guys about, oh, it's not safe to do this, it's not safe to do that. It's not true. Now, do you need to take precautions? Are there issues and obstacles to get over currently right now because Omicron's at its peak? Yes, absolutely. And that's where we're going to get into. But the big part that I want to get through here is that cruising, and this is again from ASTA, again, talks about the comparing a ship to a state. Which would you rather be on? And if I had a choice of living in Georgia or being on a ship, I would go get on the ship. So that's kind of where we were with that. Now, this is where we start to turn the tide a little bit. And actually, this is where I think I was getting a little depressed with all of the fear factor news out there until all of a sudden, Richard Pham came on with this statement that said Omicron is having a big short-term impact on everyone. But many observers see this as a major step towards COVID-19 becoming an endemic rather than an epidemic. And then there's one of the video I'm going to share with you in a few minutes, which really, really starts to make more sense and gets me pretty dang excited, is that for us to beat this COVID pandemic, endemic, and I'm no scientist here, so this is Kathy talking. I have understood that we all need to be vaccinated. We all need to be boosted. You've heard that herd immunity, that once everybody either has the antibodies in their system from having COVID, or you've got the booster or the shot to protect you, your immune system is up to date, then it has nowhere else to go. It basically has nowhere else to go. So it's done. We can take it over. Well, with these large numbers stating that they have Omicron, then that right there is starting to get antibodies in people. And it's also got the more people are vaccinated, more people are boosters, this thing is going to start to wane out. And that's exactly what you're going to hear here from a few minutes. I'm hoping to get a video that I can play on that. And I'm sure there are some people that are getting Omicron that is very, very serious. Everyone that I've heard so far that is very, very serious, the next thing is they're not vaccinated. If you're vaccinated and you're getting Omicron, I'm hearing it's kind of close to, well, I know Jason got it. So he said, first day I felt kind of lousy, second day I had a headache, third day I was super fine. Not a problem. So everybody's a little bit different, but even the news will state it's kind of like a bad cold. Now, I'm going to try and play this video. Again, it came as just a short snippet that was on my conference call with home office. And so I'm going to need to switch over, so bear with me. And this is Dr. Scott Gottlieb, which is on the board of directors with Pfizer, by the way, and he's also on the Healthy Sale panel. So listen to this. Let's hope I can do this. Okay, I think you might have it. So here we go. Let's hope you can hear it.
This is not going to last very long. We're going to be in the throes of this wave of infection for maybe a month. Here in the Northeast, I think you're going to see infections peak out within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully New York City does find a peak within the next 2 weeks. London, which is about 2 to 3 weeks behind New York City, has already peaked and is probably on the way down. So this is a very fast-moving wave of infection. On the back end of this, hopefully we're done with COVID for a while. We'll have enough immunity in the population between vaccination or infection. Florida is, parts of the Pacific Northwest. Other parts will lag, but this will move very quickly. From peak to peak in other countries, Omicron swept through in less than 2 months.
So, guys, good news.
Okay, so now I'm going to come back and let me get back over here, get my slide back up. So I don't know about you guys, but I heard that from Dr. Scott Gottlieb, which is pretty awesome. And these countries have gone through this in 2 months. Now, to back him up on something else, and I think I posted it, it might be in the slides going forward, London has now started opening up. There is no prerequisite to go into that. Now, right now, it's at its peak. And so right now is where I think everybody needs to be on guard. But it's like Gottlieb said, that as people are getting vaccinated, people are getting the virus, that the immunity is hopefully going to make this thing go away. So if you want more and up-to-date information, okay, this is what we're all about, is to make sure that if you're making any type of decision on traveling anywhere near, and again, right now, I would say, this is where my concern is. This is the reason why if you guys got a trip in March or April, I'm not talking to you right now because I've got trips going out this month and February. That's more my concern, to make sure they've got everything that they need. So if it's something a little bit further out, just give me a little more time. I promise to get back to you. But your second choice is to go to my website, which, by the way, this is going to be after Travel Club, my only website. So you might want to make sure you have that handy. It's exclusivecruisetravel.com. Exclusivecruisetravel.com. I know you guys can't see it on the slide, but if you go, you're going to see our little picture here. And then right up here, you see where this arrow is at the very top up here? It's got a big arrow and it says COVID-19 travel information. If you click that, that is being fed by my home office on very, very up-to-date information on anything. So I think you will get a wealth of information if you go there on that. So I think right now, and again, I can testify and tell you a little bit about what travel is like out there right now. If you, and I think I mentioned this on the balcony, if you're ready to go, and what I mean by that, you've been home for 2 years and you're tired and you want to get out and I can't believe I would be home for 2 years. I think I would go crazy. So if you haven't traveled in a couple of years, and I know you've probably had some downers because if you probably had travel booked and then you had to cancel travel. But if you're ready to go, then you need to be ready and you need to be travel ready. And I'm going to tell you, I'm honest, you got to have vaccines, you got to have boosters. And it's starting to go there that all are starting to require your boosters. You need to be able to wear a mask. You need to not have an issue. I have some people that they get themselves so wadded up about wearing a mask that they forget the environment around them and the things they could be enjoying. You know, wearing a mask, I actually got so used to it on the cruise ship. I've been wearing them more since I got home just because it feels more comfortable to me in some environments. And again, it's being smart about those environments if you want to wear a mask or not. So you got to have a comfort level with the mask. And then you want to also be able to wash your hands and sanitize and be okay with doing that. And you need to be okay with keeping your immune system up. I mentioned this, I don't know, it's probably been longer than 5 or 6 years ago, but there's something called Airborne. And I take one every single solitary morning. And there's not one morning it's just like coffee Airborne. You know, I drink a cup of coffee and then I have a bottle of water with Airborne. And it helps put vitamins and things in your body that helps you fight off immunity. I haven't had a cold. I haven't had a flu in 5 years. In fact, I think the flu was the thing that got me doing that. And I've had nothing like that since I started doing it. So that's what travel ready would be. Travel's going to be different. It's not going to be 2019. This cruise that I was just on, and I want to see what, I'm going to go back. Oops. No, well, I'm sneak peeking. I'm going to get back to here because I want to finish telling you a little bit what to expect. Because if this is not something that you want to do and you're more happier staying home and not doing anything, then that's what you need to do. You need to be happy for yourself. You need to be safe for yourself. But on the ship, we got into St. Martin and had a wonderful time, did some catamaran. I got to swim in the ocean in January, which is always my thing. I like to get in the ocean in January. And then we missed St. Thomas. Now we missed St. Thomas because the ship, now what they do is they periodically test the crew. And of course, if anybody got sick or whatever, they went to medic. And the ship was at 1%, a little over 1%. Well, if you're over 1%, St. Thomas would not allow us in. So we had to skip that port. And I also talked to the group, I just forgot her name, Ms. Llewellyn, and I just talked to her out of Atlanta. She said, yeah, we missed St. Thomas too. And it's kind of like, then I said, well, how was your cruise? She says, oh my God, it was wonderful. It was a bunch of friends together. We had sun. The weather was great. And I think Deborah will testify, 75, 80 degree weather, sunshine. I could take that almost every single day. It was just relaxing. It was fun. Did we get to see Greece? No, the show got canceled because there were some crew members in it. It wasn't a big deal to us. If it's a big deal to you, then that's not something you may want to plan because things until this Omicron hopefully like Dr. Gottlieb says, is out of here in a couple of months, and we're kind of on our second month, then we're going to have to kind of pivot and move and shuffle around. The other thing I found, and again, we had a great time. So you can make of it what you want, but it's not going to be the vacation you had in 2019. It's gonna be a little different. Forgot what I was going to say. Oh, now let's talk about the airlines, because I don't have a slide on them, but I know they are. It's a hit or miss. I don't know. God kind of looks out for me a lot. And on this one trip, I decided to drive. Perfect timing, don't you think? So we actually drove to Port Canaveral. We left, had an overnight in a hotel, got to the port the very next day, and literally just walked right on at 12:30, 1 o'clock. Getting off the ship, Deborah will testify to this. I think we left the room at 6:45, and I think we were in the car at 7. It was just like walk off and that's it. You need to have your passport, but it's face recognition. There's no touch anything. You just leave. And we drove in here at 6:30 Sunday night. So I didn't have to deal with the airport. So here's where I was going with the airport. Because Omicron is so contagious, everybody gets it very quickly. Fortunately, if you're vaccinated and boosted, you have very mild symptoms, but it's very easy to get that type of thing, which is where airlines are having staffing issues, because obviously once you've got it, they don't necessarily want you flying in the airplane, so they just send you home. So the question is, well, what do they do on a cruise ship, when that happens? Well, believe it or not, I just read an article. I thought this was amazing. I hadn't thought of it. There's 2 ships that Royal has, I know for sure. That is the Vision and the Rhapsody, which is currently not sailing. So anybody that's tested positive on a ship, they're taken off of that ship, and they're taken to the Vision and the Rhapsody. And they're put there, and they've got high degree medical attention there. And once they're fine, then they're left in quarantine, and then they go right back to the ships. So it's not like if you have crew on the ship and they've got COVID, they don't stay there. Again, the cruise lines have got this nailed down about how to make it very safe and protective for you. All right, so I'm going to go on. I know I'm going to run out of time. Okay, so a couple of, again, good news. Again, here's where I'm believing. I believe we're going to hear some announcements in the next couple of weeks about CDC and cruise lines. My crystal ball. Where's my crystal ball? I'm taking that from Charlie. And then I think within February, probably mid-February, we're going to start to see a huge drop. If you guys remember, this was a situation last year. Except it wasn't Omicron, it was Delta V. Everybody call it. Everybody's going to cancel because it's January and it's at peak. All right. Well, and you're in the middle of the hurricane, you can't see a clear day. And that's kind of where we are. We're in the middle of the hurricane, but a clear day is coming. And I asked everybody, I said, guys, and I showed, I think, a map of a projection of it coming down, and it did exactly like it said. So anything that's long-term out there, guys, don't even think about changing it. Just leave it like it is. Here's what's going to happen. And I'm seeing this maybe short-term. If there is an issue like with airlines, they have to cancel flights because they don't have people because they've got Omicron. Ships, they got real smart because all of a sudden now the crew is starting, even though they're taking care of the crew and whatever. These guys, you just don't pull them off the street. These guys coming in from other countries have to be trained, protocol. So Royal Caribbean did shut down 4 sailings, and that minimizes the impact from the other cruises that can go off and give you the adequate. You're not going to fly a plane short-staffed. You're not going to sail a cruise ship short-staffed. Does all this make sense? Until we can get over this Omicron hump. And again, I think in some ways, Omicron might be our answer to ending. This is Kathy's opinion. Kathy's opinion. I'm writing it down. Omicron might be our one gift to get rid of this whole COVID thing between vaccines, booster, and everybody having some type of antibodies in them that we can shut this thing down. So that's my preaching. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for all this. All right, couple more things. These are good signs that are coming out. State Department CDC lowered travel advisories on the Bahamas. CDC downgrades Jamaica to a level 3, not a level 2, from a level 3 to a level 2. And we're starting to see more and more islands that's starting to do that. Okay. So again, that sign, same thing. This is the same thing I feel like I went through with Delta V. It's just that Omicron just is not, it is more massive in numbers, but thank God it's not massive in sickness and illness and death. So that's where I am with that. And then last is just a heads up for you guys. If you're waiting on passports, if your passports is about to expire, this was a public announcement that came over again with cruise planners. You're having to now wait up to 12 to 18 weeks to get your passports renewed. So heads up on that one. And I just also heard that tax refunds may be held up too. Not that this person ever gets one. I'm always the one writing the big check. So, but if you already get a refund, it'll probably be delayed too. This is news. Now, I have not sent this out to you guys that are going on the Northern Lights in March. I think is my next big Viking one that's coming out. But they came out with this, I think, day before yesterday or whatever, and it hasn't even been official, but it is going out to, it came out to me because I'm booked on it, and it came out to the clients that that Viking is now requiring boosters where it's legal, I guess. I guess you got to have so many months in there. But they are now requiring that if it's been a while since you've had your first and second vaccine, that you now have to have a booster, and it is required to sell Viking. Guys, I just think Viking has been leading the way the whole time with protocols. And so I foresee that others are going to be following in this. The other thing too, I have sailed Viking. I've sailed a lot of different companies this past year. And heads down. I mean, I think Royal Caribbean does a great job. Viking does a phenomenal job. I can't even envision. On the ocean vessels, they actually have labs on board and they're tested every single day. So just imagine that you're tested every single solitary day so that you know you're in a very healthy environment. And it's not going to be a spread. They have cameras up and down the halls. It's always taking your temperature type of thing. They do fogging and the cleaning, and they're just amazing at what they do with protocols. I was pretty blown. And all of it, by the way, is at their expense. Zero. I mean, in some cases, I've had to pay for my COVID test to go from one ship or one country or whatever, but not with Viking. So they get my thumbs up. And then I'm just going to do some shout out. A travel agent, sometimes we get the brunt end of things, and especially when our newsworthy friends, create the fear factor. But I'm going to do some shout out here. I did something really what I thought was stupid, which was broadcast from the balcony of an ocean ship with my bathing suit and cover up on and my hair tied up in a knot and going, oh, Lord, am I really doing this? But it hit home office. Home office sent it out to the agents. There's about 3,000 agents or franchises with cruise planners. So we were actually in the news, WJHL. I told them that this morning. And also start doing some shouting out. And actually, it's a shout out to you guys, because without you guys having the confidence to stick with us and stay with us and book with us, and us being, it's not just me, it's a we. And the we is, I have an amazing agent I have two amazing agents in Nashville, Tennessee. Jason Poole and Joe Lynch. I've got Shelley Weininger here in town. I've got Ellen West, and I've got Deanne Weatherly here in town. So when I'm out of town and I've got overload, they're able to help and pick up. And then I have a new agent down in South Carolina, Holly Crotty. And so there is a beautiful team which helps to put us in the top 50. We actually ranked number 18 in the month of December. So 18 in the month of December out of 3,000 agents. I shout out to you guys and say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Travel Club is next week on the 18th. So obviously that's a Tuesday. We are not going to be doing Travel Talk Tuesday. I hope to see you live. Viking is going to have an event February the 17th. We are in the process of confirming hard that date. So pencil those 2 dates in, and I hope to see everybody at that point in time. Boom. Yay. That was a lot of information. It's a quiz later. No, I'm teasing you. Gosh, the sun is out. The problem is it's 30 degrees out there. Last week it was 80 degrees. I know, but it's pretty to see the sun. All right, so I'm going to run back up here and see if there's any other. Now, guys, do me a favor, really do, because I think there are some hardcore facts in here. I do feel that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear some news shifting and changing towards positive with the cruise line. I hope you're understanding now when they say cruise lines are canceling. Well, it's just like airlines are having to cancel, but cruise lines are being smart about it, and they're actually protecting their people and getting them well and making sure that when you get on a ship that you've got a healthy staff that's there for you. And Omicron is just it's spread so quickly that it's just taking out the numbers again, though it's giving us antibodies as that happens. Fortunately, not getting sick though. All right, so Deborah's there. Deborah, you got any comments? I know you can't talk. I should have had you on here. So put those down there. Miss Sarah's there. Hello, Louise. All right, I already did Barbara. I just got to find my little bar here. Eloise, Gary, David, Carolyn, Mike, amigos, Claire, Deborah. Yes, Deborah says it was a great time. Needs sun. Well, there's sun here. It's just a few degrees different. Now, Claire did, this is what I was trying to read before, so I'm going to read it out. So just to mention, it took about 60 hours to get our PCR test results, not up to 48 hours as advertised. We would have been waiting to go to Charlotte Airport when we got our results Sunday at 3:45 a.m. Well, you know why that happened, and it's a good point that Claire, we call her Queenie. Queenie brings this up is because you do need to be prepared with that. Hey, I had to take a test on New Year's Eve, and guess what? Nothing was open New Year's Eve. What was great about it, though, Royal Caribbean has a test that they sent to me within 2 days, and you have someone online that helps you take that test, and then they print out the results, and it was real easy to get through. But the reason why Queenie's talking about that is because the fear media, the media market, is making testing an activity du jour. That's what I call it. Testing is an activity du jour. Whether you have symptoms, not have symptoms, whether you actually need the test to get on a plane or you need the test to get on a trip, people are just going and taking them. So, yeah, I'm hoping that's starting to calm down some. If anybody knows if it is, let me know. Because, again, I just got in 2 days ago. And Carolyn says, do you need a star card that is being said you need? You're talking about the Real ID, I think is what it's called. I think Real ID, I'll have to double check it because they had it and then they pushed it out. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think we have until October. But I always go with my passport. So whether I have a driver's license as a backup, but I always have my passport. But I'm sorry, Carolyn, I used to know that, but they moved it so many dang times. I don't know right off the bat. Martha is down there. Miss Holbrook is up there. I think of Martha. I think of, and some of you guys, I think of Mark with Vacations by Rail. Vacations by Rail celebrity, not Mark. Mark's not coming in. I tried to get Mark. Mark's too busy. He's touring. So I've got Mark's boss coming in from Vacations by Rail. I've got Celebrity Cruise Line coming in, and I've got Alma Waterways coming in for Travel Club. So we've got some really, really good stuff that's going to be happening there. Mark, however, is going to help start promoting our Alaska trip. And for you guys that have been on the Alaska trip on the rail, I know you guys had a marvelous time because it was one of my top trips. We need to push it. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my group space, so we need to start spreading that word out there a little bit. Thank you, Miss Lisa. Lisa says, "Congrats, you are the best. You're so sweet." And Louise, congrats. Appreciate that. Celia's on. Hey, Miss Martin. And let's see, what was she said? I lost it. Did you have to pay for your second OCR test in the same day? I didn't take an OCR test in the second day. I'm not sure, Claire. Okay, there's two types of tests. A lot of people, there is a PCR test and there is a antigen test. And word just almost went out of my head. So protocols have changed. That's the reason why, guys, get my website up there and always click on that top link because they're always changing it. It used to be that you could only do a PCR test. And some countries still are demanding a PCR test. A PCR test is going to take you 48 to 72 hours normally. 48 to 72 hours to get the results is what they say. The reason being is it's much more, they run everything through so many more tests to determine in depth if you have it. So it's in the long run, it's a better test to determine if you have COVID or not. Where an antigen test is something that you can take and within 15 minutes, literally you will have your results. It's a little bit higher, but if there's any type of Omicron, COVID, Delta V, any type of those in your system at all, it will pick it up right away. So, and someone said, are they reliable? Yes, if they're done in the right, this was actually on it. I don't know, it's either a video or something, but yes, if it's done in the right way, it is. Some people just don't. That's the reason why if you go to the drugstore and you buy a home test and you come home and you do the home test yourself and you wait for results in 50 minutes, that's a rapid antigen test. You can't use those to get on ships and stuff. You need to have a professional read the test for you. That would be a lab. That would be CVS watches you take the test and they send it to a lab. Same thing with Walgreens. When I took the test here with Royal Caribbean, literally I'm on this computer. They're looking at me. They're saying, put the thing so they can see what I'm doing. They're watching me do it, and then I have to show them results. Then they type up the results and email it to me. I print it off and we're done. So it's not like you just go take, for lack of a better word, a pregnancy test. And it's, it kind of is that, but you need to have a professional to ensure you're doing it correctly. Because with an antigen test, if you do it wrong, it's going to come out wrong. That makes sense? Did I clear it up? PCR, antigen, rapid. Okay. Piggly Wiggly said hi. Well, hey to Piggly Wiggly. We got some of them getting ready to go down to Cancun. Okay, I think that's it. I hope this was good information, which I hope you will send over and share with folks and understand that we are in a peak time and things are going to start to come down. Don't panic. Protect yourself. Get vaccinated, get boosted if it's done, and airborne vitamins. Stay healthy. Be safe, be sane, be satisfied. We'll see you at Travel Club.